Hey, what's up out there? Welcome back. This is Jermaine Wright, your LPC, licensed professional counselor. And thank you for tuning in to Building Blocks for Mental Health. As always, as I empower you to continue to build into becoming the best version of yourself, inspiring hope, and changing lives one session at a time. www.jwcandc.com. So, hey, what's going on? What's going on out there? I hope everyone's doing well. So, hey, before we jump into today's topic, what I would like you all to do is, hey, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Like I always say on these J Talks, even if this is not, personally pertaining to you, if you think this information is helpful, hey, share it with somebody. Share it with somebody. Share it to your social media page, because this is how we foster awareness, and this is how we impact change by, coming along useful information and sharing it with people who need to know. Okay? So you go on and do that for me. And don't forget to go to the bottom of that page. I've been saying the top of the page. Here's me not paying attention. Don't forget to go to the bottom of that page and hit that subscribe button so that you can stay abreast on all of the continued J Talks and different things that will be coming your way on your YouTube airways. Okay? So, hey, listen, we are in for a really interesting discussion today. In today's episode of Building Blocks for Mental Health, we are going to be delving into the critical topic of child development and decision making. So, part of what made me want to have this discussion, because it was sparked by a recent incident involving, I'm pretty sure you all remember, our boy Dylan Dillinger from the musical group The Band, right? So we know that the Dave Chappelle skit, top 5 rappers of all time, Dylan. We all saw that. We all laughed. We all thought it was funny. But were we laughing with Dylan, or were we laughing at Dylan? And what was the psychological impact on Dylan? In a recent interview, Dylan reflected on his career and the impact of how his image was manipulated, which ultimately contributed to the destruction and stagnation of his career. So part of what struck me most about that interview and about that situation was all of the feedback and the harsh criticism directed at Dylan. I mean, the comment section was wild, and he was going off on him. They were telling him things like, oh, you should have made better decisions. Oh, you didn't, it wasn't Dave Chappelle that destroyed your career. It was you. And, it may be some truth to some of the things that the comment section was spitting out, but I think he was just treated with a lack of empathy. And some of the things that were said was just really, really crazy when you think about the maturity level of a 21 to 22-year-old young adult. So this is part of why I wanted to have this discussion today, because while certainly accountability is important, I think we also got to consider the context of someone's development. At the time when Dylan was navigating his career in the music industry, he was in his early 20s. And this is a time where a lot of us, if we really want to have empathy, y'all, this is a time where many of us are still figuring things out in this life with being in your early 20s. Yet the comments online, these comments were relentless, suggesting that he should have made better choices, and particularly in his interactions with industry figures like Diddy. Right? I mean, it's Diddy. Think about it. Think about who Diddy was and what Diddy represented. I mean, you get to meet Diddy, you're probably thinking, I'm meeting one of the dons. I'm at the pinnacle of my career, and things are about to happen for me. I think one of the things that we're not considering, that is crucial, is that we have to understand that the human brain isn't even fully developed until around age 25. The prefrontal cortex, is a portion of the brain that is responsible for decision making, self-control, and understanding consequences. The brain undergoes significant maturation during this period. And before that, young adults rely more on the amygdala. So the amygdala, and I know I'm getting real technical, but I'm trying to educate y'all. All right, because we need to talk about childhood development. So the prefrontal cortex is not fully developed. And remember what I said, that is responsible for decision making, self-control, and understanding consequences. So before that, young adults rely more on the amygdala. This is the part of the brain associated with primitive emotions and impulses. So in practical terms, this means that young adults like Dylan may struggle with impulse control and may act without fully considering the consequences of their actions. So certainly, while this doesn't excuse his behavior or anybody else's behavior, it does provide valuable context for understanding it. I think the other thing that we have to look at, and most notably in Dylan's situation, is you listen, y'all. We can't act like we don't know how production companies are and the media is. Look at everything that's allegedly going on with Diddy now, right? If you think about how he treated, people who had way more, status than the band Dylan. When you look at, people like Biggie, you look at Mace, Biggie died, right? So we know about that. But when you look at some of the stories that have come out from Mace, some of the stories, I'm thinking about who else had a story. Shoot, even the Locks, one of my favorites of all time. When you look at, most recently, Diddy's ex-girlfriend, Cassie, when we look at how some of those experiences that they had with Diddy, shaped their career, is it unreasonable, to believe that possibly that these young adults were exploited and taken advantage of as well? What Dylan's story highlights is the need for empathy and compassion towards young people. Instead of harsh judgment and ridicule, these young adults need guidance and true leadership. So imagine how different Dylan's experience might have been if he had been met with understanding and support rather than criticism. Rather than, just simply making a mockery of him and making him out to be a joke. Maybe somebody should have pulled him to the side and said, hey man, the industry is rough. And listen, man, you got to be careful what you say. And, let me give you some game if you're willing to listen on some better ways to govern yourself and some better ways to navigate relationships so that you can be successful. And maybe all of us who also laughed at the Dave Chappelle, skip, which was, I get it, it was funny, but at what point do we go too far, y'all? For real, it made me really think about, we think about how popular Dave Chappelle was at the time. Think about if you were in high school and think about the most popular people, right? Let's say that you're in high school, right? And let's say you're a freshman. And let's say like the most popular person or the most popular people in high school make you out to be a joke. And now, everybody wants to ride with the popular people. Think about what that's going to do to somebody's confidence. Think about what that's going to do to somebody's self-esteem and think about, how that person is going to be treated by everybody in the entire school. That's what Dylan is trying to say. It's not that he's not taking accountability, but he's trying to say that the Dave Chappelle skit didn't help with his ability to do the things that he wanted to do within his career because no one took him seriously and everybody treated him as a joke, right? So I couldn't even, I here it is that I just did this popular show, with Diddy, and I can't even get an opportunity. Nobody will even take me seriously to even determine if my music is trash or not, because all they remember is the Dave Chappelle the Dave Chappelle skit, and they won't take me seriously because they just see me as a joke. So as adults, I just think we have a responsibility to nurture and guide the younger generation by recognizing that they're still young, they're still developing emotionally and cognitively, and we need to challenge outdated beliefs about young people's capacity for maturity and treat them with the empathy and compassion that they deserve. So, what can we do? What can we do to support the next generation? Firstly, I think we need to educate ourselves about child development a little bit more and the challenges that young people face and are experiencing. We need to understand the science behind brain development. Understanding the science behind brain development can help us approach situations with greater empathy and patience. Secondly, we must create environments that foster growth and learning. This means providing young people with opportunities to explore their interests, make mistakes, and learn from them. It also means being there to offer guidance and support when needed, rather than criticizing or dismissing their efforts. Thirdly, we need to be mindful of our own behavior. I can imagine with those young adults. I know, some people, call young adults kids, but I can imagine, what type of behavior by those adults, Diddy and whoever else was on that show and in that environment. I could just only imagine the type of behavior that was modeled to those young adults, and we learn according to what we see, not what we're told. So I wonder how the things that were modeled to them impacted that behavior, and that's part of what we need to be mindful of is how the things that we model to our young people impacts their behavior. Children and teenagers and young adults are incredibly perceptive, and they pick up on subtle cues from the adults around them. So by modeling empathy, modeling kindness and resilience, we can teach them valuable life skills that will serve them well into older adulthood. Fourthly, we must advocate for policies and programs that support the well-being of young people. So this includes access to quality education, mental health services, right? It includes access to those things, opportunities for recreation and socialization. And it also means challenging systems of oppression and inequality that disproportionately affect young people from marginalized communities. Finally, y'all, we need to listen to our youngins. We need to listen to our young people, and we need to take their concerns seriously. Stop telling them that they're too young to be tired. Stop telling them that you're young, you shouldn't have any problem. There's nothing that you should be worried about at a young age. Way too often adults dismiss the voices of young people, assuming that they lack wisdom or experience. But the truth is, young people have valuable insights and perspectives that can help us create a better world for us all. So, in conclusion, supporting the mental health and well-being of young people requires a collective effort, and it's all about creating environments where they feel valued, supported, and empowered to reach their full potential. By challenging outdated beliefs, fostering empathy, and advocating for their needs, we can help young people thrive and become the leaders of tomorrow. So hey, listen, thank you again. Thanks for tuning in for today's episode of Building Blocks for Mental Health. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe at the bottom of the page. And I look forward to continuing to empower you to building and to becoming the best version of yourself. This is Jermaine Wright, your LPC. I'm out. See you soon and take care.